You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Y&R fans. Well, we are just a few episodes away from Abby and Devon finding out their wedding is going to be at the rebuilt Newman Ranch, and actor Bryton James teases that there's a big shocker at the wedding, and it looks like an uninvited guest is making trouble. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got some great wedding photos to show you. We've got the guest list, who's missing from the guest list that's pretty interesting, and which uninvited guest could be the one that starts trouble. If you're not following us, please click subscribe. We're going to show you all these photos. It looks really exciting. Let's dive in and talk about who is there for the big day and what's the big trouble, because there's three huge sources of drama that have the potential to put a huge damper on the big day, but only one of them does. So there's a guest. Guest is the wrong word, because the bride and groom did not invite this person. I feel like this is a shady invite situation, or that they were encouraged to crash. We'll get into that in a moment. There's also a tense phone call to someone who's also not at Abby and Devon's wedding, but is out stirring up trouble that could be the source of the problem. And there's a huge business issue brewing on what should be a happy family occasion. So they gave us a ton of wedding photos, press pics, and just by the way, the pastor officiating the wedding is played by Melvin Robert. He is in a ton of these photos. Really nice looking guy. All right, let's get started. So I counted, there are 28 chairs at the wedding. That's max of 28 guests. And then we have the pastor, the bride, Abby, the groom, Devon, and their son, Dominic. So 28, 29, 30, that's 32 people total. So let's start, of course, with the father of the bride, Victor, who surprised Abby with the venue. He is so thrilled he got the ranch rebuilt as a surprise for Nikki, but got it done in time for this big Abbott Newman Chancellor Winters family wedding in honor of the 13,000th episode of Y&R. The groom, Devon, has lots of family there. We've got photos of Devon with his mom, Harmony Hamilton, and his sister, Anna Hamilton. And if you're curious if the father of the groom, Tucker McCall, is the mystery uninvited guest, he is not. Or if he is, they kept him very cleverly hidden, because there is not one shot of him in the press photo. Too bad, though. I do love Trevor St. John. Also on hand are Nate Hastings, cousin of the groom Devon, and he is also serving as the best man. Nate has got a pretty hot number on his arm. Audra Charles is with him as his +1, and yes, she is in a very, very sexy dress. You are not supposed to upstage the bride, but Audra is showing off. And it looks like everybody is playing nice for the most part, at least for a little while, because in a scene with Nate and Audra, she's talking to Devon, Abby, and Lily, and nobody's scratching anybody's eyes out. I'm sure the open bar may be helping. And yes, Lily Winters is there, even though she threatened Devon that she might not come when he asked her to maintain her composure and please don't make a scene with Victor or Nikki at my wedding. And you may recall Lily actually suggested he disinvite the father of the bride and his wife, which was nuts. Anyway, there's a great pic of Lily with Devon and Nate, and another with just Lily and Devon, and she may be part of the shocker, but she's an invited guest and she's not the big source of trouble. So next on bride Abby's side, we have her mom, Ashley Abbott, fresh off her stay in a Paris psych ward. Abby's uncle Jack went to retrieve her, and he's there as well. We've also got some pics of the Abbott ladies, Tracy, Ashley, Jill, with Esther, and Diane Jenkins is in the mix. And yes, you heard me right, Diane Jenkins Abbott. That is the uninvited / unexpected guest that nobody thought they were going to see, that seems to be the big shock drama participant. You know, there may be more than one twist, but the big one definitely seems like it's got roots in Diane, and we're going to talk about that more in a minute. There's also a sweet pic of Devon and Abby with their moms, Ashley and Harmony, and Ashley spends time hanging out with Esther, sitting with Alan and Tracy at the reception. Also on the bride's side is her uncle, Billy, who is posing with his brother, Jack, and the pastor. Expect some tense talk between Billy and his mom, Jill Abbott, at the wedding. I am really hoping they're going to behave themselves and not ruin Abby's big day with Jill and her ultimatums about Billy and Lily and all that. However, Victor may rub Billy the wrong way because there is a tense scene with Victoria and Billy outside on the patio, and he seems very upset, and that can only be because of the mustache. On the bride's Newman side of the family, we've got her brother Nick, who is seated right behind Nikki and Victor and Devon's mom, Harmony. Nick does not seem to have a +1. It looks like he has gone stag, which makes sense. I mean, he can't bring Sharon since she torched the place 12 years ago, and he can't bring Phyllis because she's Phyllis. You can't bring her. Abby's sister Victoria is there chatting up Devon's sister Anna, and Victoria's daughter Claire Newman is there and spends time with her mom and grandma Vicky, and of course her mom and grandma Nikki. Victoria's +1 is Cole, and of course he is happy to be there with her and Claire, even though he is not a fan of Victor's and maybe less so by the end of this wedding. And it looks like Victoria and Cole witnessed some of Diane's wedding day shenanigans, judging by the shocked look on their faces. Abby's niece, Summer, is on hand, but she is also without a +1 unless they just left Chance out of the press photos. But I cannot imagine Chance wants to sit there and watch his ex-wife marry the guy she cheated on him with. You know, that'd be kind of awkward. Also on the Newman side are Mariah Copeland and her wife Tessa Porter. They spend time hanging out with Claire and Kyle, and they definitely like Claire with him better than they did with Summer. And Mariah and Tessa have a catbird seat to view the brewing drama, judging by the look on their face as well. As for Dr. Alan Laurent, he is swimming with the sharks as Tracy Abbott's +1. He has been warned about Abbott drama, and he has also heard about Victor loving to target the Abbotts and specifically Jack Abbott. And as I was hoping, it looks like little Dominic, Abby and Devon's son, is at the wedding as the ring bearer. That's what I thought they might do with him. There's a behind the scenes shot. It's not really crisp, but you can see little Dominic, and he's on the aisle right by his parents. So maybe he's bringing the rings down. Now, let's talk about the shockers. Summer gets a very tense phone call during the reception. She looks alarmed when she's on the phone, and it could be about her mom, Phyllis, who is dead set on confronting Sharon and probably is going to wind up in danger soon. Summer looks distraught. She may have to race out of there. We'll see. And there's also the fact that Victor has ticked off at least half of the guests, and that's a source of trouble. But the likeliest source of trouble is Diane Jenkins. Since Jack dumped her and threw her out and fired her, we know that she is not there as his +1. I don't see them reconciling between now and the wedding on November 13th. Plus, when he sees her, he's glaring. I do expect that Victor invited Diane, or he told her to come crash the wedding and not reveal that he told her to do it. There are a lot of shocked faces when people see Diane walk in. She looks fabulous. And if you remember, Diane asked Victor to fire Kyle as CEO of Glissade and hire her instead to punish both Jack and Kyle. And the mustache asked her to prove her loyalty. So maybe she did and it all blows up at the wedding, or maybe whatever she does at the wedding is what he wants her to do to prove her loyalty, you know, make a scene. I don't know. I cannot imagine that bride Abby, you know, and uncle of the bride Jack, or Nikki or Kyle or anybody else affected are going to appreciate her making a scene, but it definitely looks like we're getting one. There is a photo of Victoria and Cole looking on in shock, and another of Mariah and Tessa, similar expressions. Jack and Ashley are glaring daggers at Diane. You can kind of see her off to one side of that photo. Jack and his sister look absolutely disgusted with her. And it looks like Diane creeps up and takes Kyle by surprise, approaching him while he's chatting with Claire's parents, Victoria and Kyle. There's a shot of Diane grabbing Kyle's arm as he tries to walk away from her, and Claire is staring at her in shock like, I can't believe you just did that. So we'll see if there's another another shock, but Diane is my top choice for the chief troublemaker at Abby and Devon's wedding. Also, there's an interesting behind-the-scenes photo of Susan Walters and Eric Braeden, who play Diane and Victor, chatting and looking intense. And I wonder if they are discussing the trouble that their characters may start at the wedding, just kind of discussing the acting work that's going on because they look like it's intense. They could be talking about bicycling. I don't know. I could see Victor wanting Diane there to humiliate Jack and Kyle in public in front of everybody because Victor is just on one of those anti-Abbott tears, even though Nikki will blow up at him for bringing Diane to the wedding. And I don't see her showing up without Victor prodding her to do it. I just don't. So just real quick, some major characters that do not seem to be at Abby and Devon's wedding based on press photos and behind the scenes video clips are Chance, Sally, Adam, Chelsea, Sharon, Phyllis, Cricket, Daniel. That's everybody I can think of that isn't at the wedding. Check out those photos. I hope you like them.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.